Pluto is a dwarf planet in our solar system that is named after a Greek god, the god of underworld. The name was actually originally proposed by a 7-year-old girl to her grandfather, who then made it official. Pluto holds the number 134340, and its surface is minus 223 degrees Celsius, and it has a pretty sad story, if you ask me, personally. So in August 2006, Pluto was excluded from the solar system because he didn't fulfill the third condition that there was set. The condition was that it must clear the neighboring region from any other objects, which it didn't, since its surface was smaller than Russia. But Pluto was temporarily excluded from the solar system since in 2006 September it was re-included as a dwarf planet. Therefore, it was half of the planet it was before. And I personally think that if Pluto was a person, it would have a pretty sad story, since in the beginning it belonged to such a big part of the group and such a great social gathering, and it got left out as half the man it was before. I can relate to Pluto because just like Pluto, I used to be such a part of a group, and I loved it there. It was entertaining, it was amusing, but I didn't fulfill all the conditions they set me. And just like that, I was left out. I was no longer what I used to be. I changed myself, and I was so much different than before. I wasn't even half of what I used to be, because these people that were supposed to be my friends, they just cut me out. And just like Pluto, I was only far away from the sun, even though just like the others, I was orbiting the same direction. I wanted the same thing. I just didn't want to be alone. But I guess that wasn't possible from my friends. And it just like Pluto, my heart became a very cold and dark place, minus 223 degrees Celsius. But I still found the courage to go out and meet other people and make new friends. But people grow up and things change, and kids don't just say things in front of your face anymore. They just say it behind your back, and you just have to be okay with it. And when you finally find out what they actually think, it hurts a little more than it would have before. And that's kind of what happened. I met a really great friend. She was such a good girl. She was amazing. She literally tore herself apart to make people be comfortable in themselves. But I guess she didn't feel the same way as I did for her, since I changed myself to fit her conditions and to orbit around her life. So she became my sun, but to her I was nothing but a number. I was just 134340. And that was really lonely. So to become like her, I fit her conditions and I constructed myself around her life, but she did not do the same for me. And when she realized that I had changed to become what she wanted me to be, she just left. She just excluded me from her planet group. I was no longer her friend, and I was no longer a part of her life anymore. It was just another planet, nothing too exciting or, lovely about it. And when she finally realized what I had become and the person I had become for her, she no longer liked the changed me. She wanted things to go back to how they were. But I guess it wasn't possible anymore because, even Pluto is still considered as a dwarf planet. And that little spherish object soon enough became my guardian angel. Pluto was what I looked up to, since Pluto no longer wanted to be part of the solar system just like the other planets. It was okay with being a dwarf planet. I didn't want to fit in anymore. I realized that I had to stay with myself. I had to be on my own because, there is only one sun in our solar system, therefore that sun had to be me. And I orbited around myself, and that if I had the chance to go back in time, I would not change anything about my friends and my friendship, because that taught me how to be independent and very confident. I don't hate any of my friends for what they did because they didn't do anything wrong, become humans. I guess I'm the only one who's a solar planet.